Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And I'm Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
And we're joined by Dr. Darrell Lovell today, an assistant professor of political science at WT. He's co-authored a book looking into one of the most significant recent changes in the college athletic landscape, the new name, image, and likeness policies that allow college athletes to control and profit from their personal brands. Doctor, interesting subject, because this has, even right away this year, we've seen how it's affected schools, the portals of guys going from one school to the other. And this is a trickle down, too, because a school like WT side, they don't create the revenue like a UT or Michigan does. So how do you do it equitably? And are we going to kill some smaller schools or some smaller universities because of this?
So first off, thank you for having me. I think that there are two real areas to answer that, right? There's the sports area, and then there's the equity and administration area. Because I think in really clearing nuts and bolts ways, I'm not sure NIL is supposed to be equitable.
Right.
You know, it is a free market system where the player is supposed to be able to go out and maximize their name, image, and likeness. We were talking during the break, just like the trumpet player or somebody who has a student who has a YouTube channel. So on one side, I'm not sure it's supposed to be equitable. And if there are schools out there like UT or Michigan or Oregon or Ohio State, which has reportedly spent $13 million in the portal this season to improve their team, then from a market perspective and in a true NIL perspective, well, it's not supposed to be equitable. But then you look at like the lawsuit that's happening with the Oregon female athletes right now, where you have female athletes saying, no, there is a systemic suppression of female earning because of lack of TV contracts for female sports, lack of opportunities to grow that NIL brand. Although in our research, we find in everybody's research really, females are far better at generating NIL outside of college football and men's basketball. So there's a lot of layers to peel when you start talking about like, what are we supposed to be doing with this?
Yeah. One of the things that you can go to college to major in electronics or major in music or whatever. There's no such thing as going to major in athletics as an athlete.
As you ask Cardell Jones.
Yeah. Is that maybe we need to, because some kids are destined to be the next league, going to the league. Right when they get out of high school, that guy's got a chance at the league. Is that how we approach this? It's still a student athlete, but being an athlete is what you major in here at the university.
Well, and I think especially at those high-level universities, I spent 6 years as a sports writer before I decided to use my degrees and go into academia. And the guys that I know, I have several friends on college football staffs right now and like scouting departments and things like that. And over the years, you talk to college, the idea of the student athlete is a fluid thing. I think at WT, they are student athletes.
Yeah, right.
Students going to class, where they're doing what they're supposed to do. But you look at, I'm a UT guy. Vince Young, a UT fan. I went to see you for a couple months, but Vince Young was a athlete.
Yeah.
And a kind of student. Right, like
a part-time student.
I have friends that when I was an undergrad when he was, and I have friends that were in class with him, and they're like, So I think that there are some real questions here. And some of the things that we're starting to see in NIL is, and there's actually a court case now on allowing universities to be able to pay players directly. The NCAA has come out and talked about maybe creating a subdivision. Once we start paying these players directly, and once we start classifying them as employees of the university, the next logical question to ask is academics required?
Right. Part of. Yeah.
Because I work for the university, but I don't have to take classes.
Right.
right? Like, if you're an employee of the university, is academics required? Also, do you have to provide that scholarship for them?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if
Who's
you're
paying
playing a
for it?
student athlete $80,000 a year, $120,000 a year to play football, do they also need the $30 to $40,000 a year of academic aid?
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are questions that they've been underneath the surface for a long time. And all of a sudden, the decision to do NIL just kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. And now all of these questions are pouring out. And now I think people are not able to romanticize
Right.
college athletics anymore. And I think that's what makes people, I don't know if I can say pisses people off, but that's what kind of makes people mad about college, about this now, is they don't get to romanticize.
Doing it for the old mater, do it for the Gipper.
Right.
Exactly.
Out the window. And it's funny, though. We hold those athletes accountable. Oh, you broke my heart. You left school early. Da, da, da. But coaches do it all the time. They're like, bye, see you. I'm going to visit. They're offering me $16 million. I'll see you later. Bye. But nobody ever bats an eye when it's the coach or the GM or anyone like that. But an athlete says it, and you're a traitor, or you're breaking my heart, you're a kid, or whatever. It's funny how that works, that formula. One interesting point you brought up, I want to hit real quick, Doctor, is the disparity between, not so much between the money of the schools, but between men and women. I saw a couple of years ago at the NCAA tournament, they had workout facilities. One for the men, where for the men, they had this great buffet and this beautiful space, this great gym. For the women, they just basically had a couple of heating trays over there and some dumbbells in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, Title IX is a thing. I have a paper out right now that looks at Title IX. There's a few things out looking at the overlap between, but I mean, Title IX only says that student athletes all have the same access and opportunity.
Right.
It's not saying anything about level. However, common sense sometimes has to prevail.